The children in front of the broken down houses stopped their playing to watch. Their mothers came out on the crumbling porches like roaches flocking to garbage, drawn by the immense of violence. It was in the air, something intangible, felt by all but seen by none. "Fuck you, head, and your big black ass," Tony replied quietly. I took a long drink from the bottle and then held it out towards Head. He knocked the bottle from my hand, breaking it on the ground. "I wouldn't drink after no bastard that pimps off of his own mammy," he snorted loudly. "Man, why don't you be cool?" Tony said softly. "Anytime somebody's mama get him some money, some ignorant son of a bitch could call it pimping." "That's different," Head stated and stared at me with his beady red eyes. "This half-white freakish bastard is fucking his mammy." Before the words had left his mouth, I reached across the narrow space and grabbed Head. My right hand seized his shirt while my left exploded on his chin. I followed this with a knee to his groin, and when he bent over, I straightened him up with my knee. Blood shot all over my clothes and I busted his nose. With left and right hooks to the head, I knocked him out into the street. I ran after him and kicked him in the face. This is how the police caught me when they drove up behind us. I was still kicking him in the head and the face. I had learned earlier in my childhood the art of street fighting. Violence was a way of life, and I was dedicated to being good in anything I participated in. The police took us downtown. Before taking me to juvenile, they dropped Head off at the receiving hospital. He was in need of medical treatment. I sat in a small room and waited for my mother to arrive. After what seemed like a 2-hour wait, a tall, white-haired man appeared and led me into another room where my mother waited. Jessie rushed over and examined me for any injuries. She seemed so concerned that I decided not to tell her what the fight had been about. I didn't want to have her any unnecessary worry, so I remained silent as we left the building. Evening had come over the city. Dark clouds covered the sky as we walked down darkened streets in search of a cab. Jessie put her arm around my shoulder and spoke slowly. "Not that I give a damn about what they say or think, Whoreson, but I just never realized what some low-minded bastard would think after seeing me give you my money every night." We stopped walking for a moment while Jessie fumbled around in her purse. She removed a small notebook. Each page in the book was dated, with the notation in ink following each day as to how much money she had given me to hold that night. After each week, she had added the total for all 7 days. I stared at the book in confusion. I still couldn't comprehend her reasons for keeping notes on the money. I returned the money to her every night after she quit work. In a sudden fit of humor, she laughed at my perplexity. "Darling, this is just a record to show you what kind of whore money not to accept. If any of your girls should bring you this kind of money, it means you not pimping, you simping." "Oh yeah," she added, laughing rambunctiously. "Thanks for giving me a vacation." I have never known if she resorted to scoring intentionally that night or if my ignorance really was that amusing. Whatever the reason, it got the job done. From that day on, I knew I would never accept schoolgirl money from a woman again. When we continued walking, with her arm around my shoulder and her laughter ringing in my ear, I clutched the notebook tightly. It served its point. Besides teaching me what kind of trap money not to accept, it taught me that a woman would test her man at all times. I knew then that I would one day pimp, and pimp good, because I was going to pimp with a passion.